budget estimate for defense. If you look at page 6, Honorable Chairman and Honorable Members, of the document that we made available, page 6 of the document, you will have the summary of what is being proposed by our ministry. And it's an estimate of 23,275,564,740 naira. And this comprises of personnel cost of 8,786,086,509 naira, and overhead cost of 1,589,478 1,589,428,232 naira, and for capital 12,899,999,999 naira. And since I believe you're going to take the agencies differently and separately, I want to concentrate on the ministry, the headquarters, for this session. Our projection for revenue is on page 7. And although we're using the standard 10% increase that the Budget and National Planning Office advises us to do, which gives us a projected increase to 3,151,393,767 naira 84 kobo. I must add, Honorable Chairman, that this focuses primarily on royalties and fees. We're taking an additional step so that you have a total rounded picture of what is actually generated from our sector. By asking the FIRS, we're working with the FIRS to delineate what our mining companies pay directly to FIRS as corporation tax and other taxes that they pay. So the Dangote, the Lafarge, the Goa, the quarries that are all over the place, they pay direct to FIRS. But we believe that it's important for you to have a proper sense of what it is that we generate with respect to that. When we came here on Tuesday, we highlighted, as we have done again here on page 8, areas of concentration for budget 2017, which is basically implementation of our roadmap developed in 2016 that we shared when I came to brief you at the plenary last year. So, and that is what is going to be the focus of our work this year, on generating qualitative geological data, on strengthening our inspectorate department, and pulling all of them together into a single regulatory authority, on the formalization of our artisanal and small-scale miners, and on the archiving and management of our mineral titles, as well as the security surveillance, because almost every member has raised concern with us in the ministry about what is happening with regards to illegal mining. The chairman of legislative compliance comes from an area where a lot of illegal mining takes place in Iseyin, and we had to deal, I believe recently, with the case of the murder of some citizens in that community by some Chinese operating illegally in Iseyin, Iwojowa area. So, and this is something that is common in Nasarawa, in Kwara, in Kaduna, everywhere around, we're dealing with this challenge, and we want to make it a major priority of our work in 2017. So, what we have done, as you will see from the presentation, is an outline, basically, of what it is that we have proposed, and I believe that is on page 11. If you look at page 11, Honorable Chairman, the main appropriation figures are contained there.
That's 2016.
Actually, from 16. Yeah, it's not 16. And the one that I really want to deal with is from page 23, yes. Particularly the capital section of it. I mean, we can either take it two ways, sir. If you have specific areas you want us to throw or shed light on, or if you want me to just go through the various estimates.
Just present the summary, and there are details that we require to ask.
Okay. Based on what I've said and what our priorities are for the implementation of our roadmap and the focus of our work, some of the key items that you find here include, for example, if you look at procurement of field vehicles, which is about 528 million naira. You may wonder, since you gave us money in 2016 to buy vehicles, and we bought vehicles in 2015 and 2016 for the first time in 10 years for our mines officers in the 36 states. But what we did was only sufficient to buy a vehicle each. When you come from these states, take Jigawa, or you take Oyo or Kwara, where we have an average of about these places that we're talking about are in the far-flung hinterland of the state. There's not much you can do with a vehicle, which will probably just be taken up by the mines officer. We have an artisanal and small-scale mining officer there. We have an environmental compliance officer there. We have other officers. Sometimes we share a building with our geological surveys and our other agencies. So we are getting these additional vehicles to also deal with security issues and also mine surveillance. But we'll provide breakdown for these big ticket items that I am highlighting so that you understand precisely what it is that we are doing with the summary figures that you have here. The other area here that would be of interest, I believe, is the establishment of safer mining technique centers for precious and industrial metals. This is important to us because we have had to deal over the years, even before we came to this ministry, with incidents of lead poisoning that have confronted small-scale informal miners. And we believe we need to begin to develop a process that can also serve as a training opportunity for people who want to engage in this small-scale mining. It's no use telling them that they are illegal. That argument we will never win. If somebody is in his backyard in Oyo or in Nasarawa and you tell him that he is illegal on his father's ancestral land where he's mining a product with digger and shovel, and you tell this same person that the man who has obtained a license from the minister in Abuja, who is from nowhere, as far as it's concerned, is the one who is legal on that land, it's a difficult challenge. And that's why we decided that it has to be a carrot and stick approach. We have to support these people who are just doing it as an anti-poverty strategy to build their skills base, to provide them with tools, to provide them with education. And that's what we're doing with this particular center that I've highlighted here. We are also, we have a figure of 100 million for research, development and collaboration with universities. We do not have enough linkage with our universities. Yet geology is a course that is taken by so many universities in Nigeria. Mining engineering is taken by fewer institutions. But the critical challenge is that there is no synergy between industry, the ministry, and the research institutions. And we believe that it's time for us to develop and strengthen that partnership in order for them to be of value to us and for us to also be of assistance to them in the training of the professionals that we need in the sector, so that they don't just end up with certificates. There are many geologists who have certificates, but they are completely useless on the field. They don't even know what geology is when it comes to practical geological work that they're supposed to do. And we believe we can improve the skills base in this regard. If you go to page 24, sir, you will see the big ticket item there is 171,445,366 naira. Consultancy on revenue collection project and security receipts. Let me try and explain this, Honorable Chairman. We went to the National Economic Council, having secured approval from the President, to also secure approval of the governors, in order to get authority to recruit revenue consultants. We are convinced, and I told you that when I came on Tuesday, that there's a lot of underreporting of the revenue that is being generated in this sector. In fact, there is a lot of tax evasion in this sector as well. And the only way we can deal with this is to recruit people who would incentivize to help us investigate what has happened. So we're doing a bank duty audit in the first instance for 5 years, the last 5 years, and then moving forward, developing a consistent mechanism that would allow our federal mines officers in the states to work with these independent consultants in the generation of revenue. But we have to pay in order for this to work well. And this is what this particular estimate is referring to. We're not in the steel committee. I would have highlighted the next big ticket item I see, which is the 2 billion for concessioning of Ajaokuta Steel Company Limited. But just for the record, because you may be interested as honorable members, what that is dedicated to is transaction advisory services for the concessioning of Ajaokuta, and also payment of severance responsibility for those who are going to disengage automatically when the private initiative takes over there. So we have factored that into the allocation that we have here. Let me also highlight the 1 billion naira that is for the regulatory agencies. Right now, the ministry is heavily involved in regulation. We have our Directorate of Mines Inspectorate in the ministry. We have the Environmental Compliance Directorate in the ministry. We have the Artisanal and Small Scale Mining Directorate in the ministry. We also have the Mining Cadastral office, which is an autonomous agency in its own, but still reporting to the ministry. The decision in our roadmap is that all of these agencies need to come together under one roof to make regulation a cost of 8,786,509 naira, and then capital of 12,899,999,999 naira. So, but I'll be happy to take specific issues that may arise out of this.
Compliance now is in every committee.
Get the further breakdown of this summary, to be able to see something. But the area actually wants to comment on it. Two areas. Like you know, I came from a very mining community. We are between Tesiwaju and Iwaju local government. We have mining sites in Abuja, Jet. Want a situation whereby there will be far more presence of those bodies in that area. Like we as politicians, we'll be going there to campaign. You won't be going to those mining sites without organizing your own private security. Honorable Minister, I've been going there since 2010. There is never, and you don't go with policemen. You have to go with local militia heavily armed. So in a mining environment where you cannot even take a policeman to jail, I really don't know how we want to ensure our law in such a location. The moment you get to Igojaye, anything government you drop it there. Either you are entering from Tesiwaju or are coming from Ibadan. That's number one. Then number two, sir, is that the environment, because I had the environmental compliance, whatever. Honorable Minister, I want you to see a situation whereby all these funds, what they are meant for, they get to the local people. And the environment these people live in, it's in fact, it's not even fit for animals to live. And I was opportune to meet with a retired member of the ministry that maybe, I don't know, maybe further study from the arts, that there's supposed to be something to the mining community, either from the ministry or from the companies operating there. Honorable Minister, nothing has gone to those communities since my first contact with them in 2010, and I make sure I go there every year, at least 2 or 3 times, up to the moment when I speak it, and there are continuous mining activities. So, in this light, Honorable Minister, I will want you to please, as you mentioned them in your budget presentation, in terms of security, in terms of the environment, in terms of corporate social responsibility, and in terms of social amenity to the people, and as the chairman legislative compliance, who at the end, when the committee have actually oversighted your ministry and come back with the report, the committee on legislative compliance will actually want to see that what you actually presented in your appropriation proposal and passed by the House is actually compliant with
budget and national planning is too generic and difficult to fit everything into that box. So it creates confusion, and when you describe an item that is more elaborate in just a single line, you don't really get a total picture of what you are saying is the budget. So that much you are right about. But the figure you refer to on research and development, it's a summary figure.
Yes.
That summary figure is now further broken down. And the 100 million to the university is just a component part of the overall 598,500,000 naira. But we'll be happy to provide the Honorable House Committee with details of what that entire 598 is comprised of. We will make that available to you.
So that we can have more, analysis on the let's say the inclusive side, on the establishment of this.
No, we can do that for every other, because that section of it is summary. Before we go to project name, before we get to project name.
Okay.
So, but the upper part is just summary. Vehicle summarized, general goods summarized. So we now need to.
The amount of research